Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons. Sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Kenworth Trucks Australia. Dasmac, shipping your classic car from the world to your doorstep. And the Intershed. G'day, I'm Fletch and welcome as I bring you to Deniliquin in New South Wales. Today you're going to see a clever guy that's restoring a fairly unique Kenworth, and you'll see some vintage tractors along the way as well in this week's Classic Restos on the Road. Country Deniliquin, home to just over 8,000 people, but you wouldn't know driving along here. Open roads and open fields. It's Australiana at its best. As we enter the property, I don't have much on my brief sheet. All I know is it's a shed and an original Kenworth is being restored for Snow Fitzpatrick. So far we pull up behind an early 80s Aerodyne. Joints like this out in the middle of nowhere, you've got to know where to look for a drink. As you move around. Machinery sitting around, it's always interesting. They've passed their hardest working years, but inside this shed here is a Kenworth. It's a cab off down to every last nut and bolt. So when we talk these early S925 model Kenworths, this truck was within the first imports by the late Ed Cameron, a handful of years before assembly began in Bayswater, Victoria at the current Kenworth plant. This is back to grassroots. A 1964 survivor, one of 40, and powered by a 6V71 Detroit diesel, a 12-speed Spicer running a 5.27 to 1 diff ratio. This icon of a Kenworth has done a bit of a boomerang around some owners since it arrived in Australia. Snowy has been the fourth owner of 15 years. Originally, the truck worked for Botts at Corowa, then to Johnny Hickmont at Wangaratta carting livestock. It went to Kitco at Gippsland, then back to Botts again. I may stand corrected on that information, but now it's back in the hands of Snowy Fitzpatrick. And this bloke here, with the talent, Rob Comer, has the gig of performing the restoration.
I come from a farming family. We started driving tractors as young kids and just went on from there. Being a mechanic by trade, it all just adds to it, I suppose, and yeah, I just like the old tractors. Yeah, it's a good quiet spot. A couple of local car clubs and machinery clubs that we're involved in, and various. We go from here to Collyamberley and Cora on tractor tracks, which are all good fun, good days out. And it's a pretty strong club that we're in, and everyone shows good interest. Built this shed about 4 years ago, began collecting tractors, and as you see what we've got here. Gradually filled it, which is now not big enough, but I don't think there's any more to go in it. And this truck behind me, which is a very early Kenworth that was imported into the country. Snowy approached me to restore his truck, and I said yes, I would do it. He turned up with it one Sunday afternoon in 1,000 pieces on the back of a drop deck, which had been, I wouldn't say pulled to bits, it had been more like ripped to bits, and it's been an ongoing saga ever since. But we've hopefully turned the corner and it's beginning to start to look all right. The cab had been repainted. I didn't do the cab. The front we've done, and the chassis have been completely stripped. Everything's been sandblasted and beginning to go back together. Engine was partially dismantled to check that it was all okay, and it's reassembled and been running. Rear diffs were reconditioned and all new brakes and running gear. Chassis rails were completely dismantled, every nut and bolt was removed, sandblasted, and heaps of holes that were already in it repaired and then all put back together. So as you can see, all the nuts and bolts on the bench, we've tried to lay them out to work out where they belong, what goes with what, and replace what we have to replace. We've had to make up a few new panels here and there along the way, make up brand new fuel tanks, have them welded up, and various other little brackets that we've had to make up and fold up along the way because we can no longer buy most bits for it. This truck is 1964. It was one of 40 odd that were brought into the country before Kenworth began to manufacture them here in Australia. And we've actually rebuilt everything we can from the front axle to the rear axles, new brakes, drums, manufactured wheel studs and wheel nuts. Engine was at 6V71 natural, partially dismantled when I got it. The injectors were jammed, so they were all removed and repaired, refitted back, set up. The blower box was removed to make sure that everything was in order in there. New seals and bearings fitted. All the necessary fuel lines have been handmade and replaced, painted and started, and runs very nicely. It has a sound of its own. It's quite unique, really. You can really do whatever you like with them, actually. Just drive them like you hate them. And they will perform very well. Well, they are supercharged, and there's one outside that's supercharged and turbocharged. So it will go even harder. But yeah, very good. Just quite a unique engine, actually. Wiring. Where would one start with that lot? Yeah, it will all be replaced. Replaced with all new wiring. Gauges will all be repaired when we eventually sort it all out, which will be quite a task. As the tachograph registers, as Fletch found, was 940,000 miles, and we assume that that is still original, which would be transferred to quite a number of kilometres. Everything looks like it's original, so we're assuming we're correct with that. Our next stage is to manufacture rear engine brackets, because we can't buy the inserts. Once that goes in, gearbox will go in, and then be wiring and airlines made to replace. My goal was hopefully Christmas, but that's not going to happen, so I'm hoping to have it ready to Easter so the man can take it to Clunes. What's a Kenworth mean to me? Yeah, it's quite unique. It was made specially to come out here to Australia. It was the beginning of the Kenworths that we have of today. Quite unique, and it would have been it would have been a huge thing to have bought in the day that it would have been bought. So far, with what you can see with dismantling, I've spent 300 hours on it, with lots to go yet.
Like Dad, I've always been a Ford man. The Falcon Squire wagon was unloved in 1964, but turns heads today. The Americans call them woodies, but the panelling, it's just fiberglass and plastic. But it's a passion that Shannons understands, which is why my Fords are insured with Shannons. And now, so's the home.
Get a quote online or call 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
If you own a classic, perhaps you're after some insurance for laid-up cover, tools or memorabilia. When it comes to insurance, it just has to be Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And for more information, visit shannons.com.au. It's early afternoon and the weather rolls in. Outside of Rob's humble shed, and a look across the fields shows some high winds, but it doesn't stop a quick peek at Rob's next Kenworth restoration, a K124. And Rob, some interesting weather's moved into Deniliquin here this afternoon. Thank you for putting the show on for me.
As Fletch, we got the wind here very often. It just doesn't let up at this time of the year, but anyway, we'll see what we can do for you.
Well, while we're out here in the yard, another truck behind us here, beautiful truck back in its day, belongs to Snow as well, and apparently you've got the gig for the restoration on this one next.
That I have. Once the other one's finished, we will attack this one to see what we come up with, Fletch.
1981 Aerodyne K124, and apparently it's going to get a V8 cat, spicer box, and painted in the original Gardner colours.
That's correct. That's the instructions that I've received, and that's what we will do.
There you go. When this truck's on the road, you've got to contact me because we need to do an update episode on this. Want to see this going down the road.
That we will do a Fletch, and we'll go for a drive, and we'll feel like king of the road.
And in between restoring the odd Kenworth or two, Rob has a big passion for his vintage tractors.
1964 9G Chamberlain. I bought as a wreck, restored it in 6 weeks, and we went across the Simpson Desert in it. 7,000 kilometres in 7 weeks. Created a fair bit of interest and a lot of heartache. Other than that, it was good fun. I had a faulty tube in the front left-hand tyre. That was it. Other than that, no trouble at all. The engine's a 4270 Perkins, about 45 horsepower, 9-speed gearbox, good for about 40 mile an hour, and very noisy. Other than that, it's good fun. This is a Chamberlain Countryman with a 4-cylinder Meadows diesel in it. I don't know the year of it. They were quite a heavy, strong tractor for their era, but I don't know a lot more than that about it. Other than it's quite complete and still goes good. International AW6 were made in Geelong. When International used to make tractors in Australia, this was one of the ones that they made. Petrol Carro, lots of them were about. Very easy to drive and very easy to operate. It's a little Farmall A garden tractor used for market gardeners with the offset seat, and traditionally they have a plough or a little cultivator bolted on underneath for their market gardeners. Very easy tractor to drive and operate, and good fun. Why do I like tractors? They're all different, all have their own little ideas and certain things. This is the John Deere Model A, 2-cylinder horizontal engine, quite an interesting tractor to drive. It's very difficult to drive from time to time, but other than that, it's quite interesting. It's a row crop job, of course, same as the made for market gardeners, I think. And the front wheels have a camber on them to help keep it going a straight line, I'm led to believe, and make it a lot easier to steer.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Call 13 46 46 for a quote. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Your story began in 1971. It's part of an endless tapestry that tells the story of our nation. It connects innovators to artisans, forests to houses, from the largest of operations to the smallest of outcomes. It's heritage. It's a legacy.
Back around 1961, Australia was a different place. It was home to 10 million people. There were just over 800,000 registered commercial vehicles, and in 1 month of May 1961, just over 270 trucks passed through the checking station at Marulan, New South Wales. Oil and gas was discovered 200 miles west of Brisbane. The last tram ran in Sydney after 100 years of service. The radio telescope was opened in Parkes, New South Wales, and around £4,000 could buy a family home. With population increasing, so did the freight demands. Around that time, Australia played host to British and European trucks that did the job, but just weren't cutting the mustard here in Australia. They were heavy trucks, underpowered, and Australian conditions of uphill and down dale placed unforeseen workloads on these trucks, costing the operators dearly. Although the diehards know this stuff, and if you don't, there was one man, a gentleman by the name of Ed Cameron. Already established in transport at that time, Mr. Cameron could see the evolving landscape with the Australian transport industry. He knew, as highways and byways were becoming established, trucks needed to be more efficient. Mr. Cameron was thinking a lighter truck for long-distance use. A truck better suited to the harsh Australian conditions. A truck that could run all day, almost unaffected by ambient temperatures. And at the time, when you practically couldn't give diesel fuel away, a more economical truck was on his radar. Kenworth fitted that bill. The only problem was there were none here. Kenworth resided in the United States of America. It's the year of 1962, and Mr. Cameron and great mate George Bromfield had the tenacity to travel to the United States of America and meet with the executive team at truck builder Kenworth in Seattle, Washington State. He told them what we needed here in Australia, and within 12 months, 7 brand new S-model Kenworths from the USA were delivered to Port Melbourne. Mr. Cameron keeping 4 and George Bromfield painting 3 in his colours for his fleet. Mr. Cameron, the main man responsible for introducing Kenworth to Australia, triggering the passion, the interest, selling Kenworths himself until 1966, then working in with people here in Australia to then evolve the brand to building Kenworth trucks out of Bayswater, Victoria in 1970. What a story. What a legacy. I think there is still a piece of Mr. Ed Cameron in the soul of every Kenworth out there today. Well, Rob, it's come to that part of the day where we are out of time. There is so much more stuff in the shed here that we could have talked about, but we'll get you on the next time back.
No worries, Fletch. It'll be a pleasure to come back when we've got this all running. We'll all go for a drive.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing Snowy's 1964 Kenworth on the road. That's going to be a special occasion when that happens.
I think I'm maybe a little more happier than you when it's on the road, Fletch.
Absolutely.
But anyway, it'll come up really good.
Rob, it takes time to make a good pizza. There's a lot of effort that goes into the time of this build. 1964 Kenworth, S925 model, and it's a credit to the people such as yourself that undertake this restoration work to preserve these trucks that are left.
Some days the pizza would be easier to make, Fletch, and the bits would be easier to get, but at the end result, this will be lasting.
Well, you've got to promise me when Snowy's truck is on the road, you give me a call, we'll do an update episode on it. I think it's going to be fantastic to see this truck going down the road.
It will really be good, and if Snow's lucky, we might go and pick him up, Fletch.
There you go. All right, well, we're out of time. It's been wonderful catching up with you.
Thank
Good on
you
you,
very
Rob.
much.
Thank
Pleasure.
you, mate. Appreciate it. So until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch.
I'm Rob.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons. Sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Kenworth Trucks Australia. Dasmac, shipping your classic car from the world to your doorstep. And the Intershed.